YouTube comic book community, Long Box Love Affair here, and this is a mega contest entry for not one, not two, not three, but five YouTubers contests that are out there for a variety of reasons. So I'm going to rattle these down. They're in the link, they're in the description, and there's some amazing things going on in the community. So kudos to everyone here and everyone that has a contest entry or opportunity out there that might not be in this video yet. So the people that I'm going to be focusing on today in this video is Billy Unboxes for his 300 sub contest, Comichaulics, Wayne and Jess for their 300 sub contest, although they're way above that now, so they're smoking. Gumba 213 or Gumba 213 for their 400 subs contest. Cajun Comics for their 100 sub contest, and Lone Wolf of Comic Book Hunts for their 400. So awesome milestones for everyone around that's been in the YouTube community for a variety of time. Some very short, some much longer. So, and also don't forget my contest is out there. So check my videos out. I have a 300 sub contest going on right now. Be sure to enter. You have until December 31st. So first off, Billy Unboxes. All right, Billy, congrats on your 300 subs. So your contest was very simple. What was the best gift that I've received? And so I have two comic books here that I want to showcase because this is a comic book channel. And the first is Spider-Man #1, the Todd McFarlane, often homaged cover, often duplicated. This is the second print. Back when I was a kid, I got this for Christmas. My mother bought me the full run of Torment, which was 1 through 5. I went to the comic store and purchased it. And how she packaged it was each comic was in a separate clothing box. And so I opened it up, and I don't think I opened them in order, but I just slowly figured out what was happening. I love this run. It has such a bit of nostalgia for me, and it's an amazing cover, amazing art. This is why I love Todd McFarlane, why I love Jim Lee, why I love Rob Liefeld. Those were all during the time where I first started collecting. So this book shaped my collection. So this started my comic book collecting. The other book I want to show is one that I got later in life. Once I graduated from college, moved to DC, started working, and it was a gift. Hulk 181, first appearance of Wolverine. It's not excellent by any means in terms of the condition. There's some wear up here. Someone stenciled the outside of here and here. You can't really see, but it's done in pencil. So it's a good copy. It's complete. Everything is there. It's a milestone, and I'm just so fortunate to have it. And it was a gift from someone very near and dear to my heart. So really good friend found this for me on eBay, I believe. So these were the two that are some of the best gifts that I've ever received. So was excited to have those. All right, next we have Comichaulics. Wayne and Jess, Comichaulics, 300 sub contest. So their rules were very simple. Just they want to know who's behind the camera. Who am I? Who are the other members of the YouTube community? What makes us tick outside of comic books? Because we all share that. And certainly a big part of my life is comic books. I've ramped up my collection since April, which is, I've always been a big collector, but watching these videos has motivated me to find new things and jump back into selling, which I haven't fully done yet, but I did quite a bit. It helped me get a down payment for a condo here in DC. But what else is Long Box Love Affair all about? Or Longbow. So I'd say first and foremost, I'm a dog person. I had adopted a dog in 2009, a puppy, and that solidified it. I was always a dog person, but I never thought about owning one until that time. And actually, no, 2007, I think I adopted him, Sawyer. And he was my child. Unfortunately, he got sick when he was almost 7 years old and passed away quickly. So I don't have a dog right now. If my work calms down, I will eventually adopt again. I'm an adopter. I'm not a buyer of dogs. I believe everyone needs a good home, and I want to make sure that I am able to give back and give a good home, whether it's a puppy or an older dog. So let me show you a picture of Sawyer right here. Another thing that I do in that area is I'm a pro bono consultant to a animal rescue, a small nonprofit organization that doesn't have the capacity to fundraise. And I've, in a way, to give back after losing Sawyer about 4 years ago, I've been fundraising for them on the side. Very minimal. It's not my day job for them, and I don't work for them, but I am a consultant for this organization. So it's another way that I give back. I do work in the arts administration, and that's probably another reason why I love the art in comic books. Is I'm an artist at heart. I got my start in theater, so a little bit like you, Wayne. And I love being able to help nonprofit organizations give them the capacity they need to build themselves up and better the community in the region here. And so that's been my career for the past 12, 15 years, is working with the nonprofit sector, particularly the nonprofit arts and humanities sector. But I have been an actor on the side, nothing terribly professional, although I have gotten paid for it. But and there's a lot of theaters in DC, so I've dabbled, but I haven't made the full commitment, nor will I. It's a great thing for everyone who's able to do that and make a living, but I've always just been a dabbler and no official training other than on the job training. So I've been an actor, and I'm also an Eagle Scout. That's just a thing from the past in high school, but so that's a little bit about Longbox beyond the comic book collecting. I appreciate art. I have it all over my house. I like to commission local artists to do works. So that's fun stuff. So that's a little bit about me. And I enjoy being on this community and being able to showcase my collection and see what everyone else has, and just to talk comic books. There's a few people I can do that here in the area, but it's great to have a wider network. So that's my entry for Comichaulics, and happy to answer any questions. So put anything in the comments below. All I can do is ignore it if I don't want to answer it, right? But I try not to do that. So great. So congrats on the subs, guys, and it's great to know you here. So next up on this massive video contest is Gumba 213. All right, so Gumba wants us to open up a comic and just kind of leaf through it and talk about it. And this gets to the next submission, but another nostalgic one I have is this Batman Sword of Azrael. This was a book that came out early in my collecting days, and I joined the hype. I joined the Superman Death of Superman hype. I joined the Batman breaking in his back hype. They told everyone it was coming. So I was like, okay, let me read up on it, and I really loved it, and it introduced me to new characters and new things. So love the Sword of Azrael. It's got this wraparound cover, and this is another reason why I love Joe Quesada's work. His stuff is great. So let me flip the camera around and we'll go through this. So the thing I love about this book is that it takes you and gives you a little bit of backstory about this character and shows that they existed before this book ever happened, which is fascinating, even though it's his first appearance. And so you get to know a little bit right away on why he's important and develop a little bit of mythology. So Jean-Paul Valley and his father, who I think that's his father, who dies. Yep. I haven't opened this since, but I do remember it because I've read it so many times and it has maintained condition. So he realizes that he's part of these knights, Saint Dumas, I believe. And how it ties into Batman is not quite clear at this point. But you realize that there's a whole order, there's a whole training regiment to this really kind of wimpy guy who turns into this badass character that's really an assassin. And so I believe this all happens in Gotham or right around Gotham. And there's a nemesis. I mean, this is the first issue is all set up. In some ways, it looks like it's brainwashing. Cool character costume. And I think his full series, they brought back this original costume. The one they include in here is pretty cool too. But yeah, that original is pretty killer and pretty retro. So again, it's just cool, like Batman cape. No capes do that. And so essentially, them coming down to the area where they are, and boom. So, does it hold up after all those years? I mean, maybe. It's a good 4-issue read. It's not an isolated 1-issue read, but there's the villain. They introduce the villain. Batman gets into the fray just in time for the cabin to be exploding. So where does that lead them? That's the cliffhanger. So as an issue, I love it. I haven't read it in years, but the artwork is what draws me. As I was talking in the Comichaulics section of this video, I'm just drawn to that, and the use of black space here. All he just drew is a hand and a head. All this is empty, and just kind of clever ways of coloring in and drawing the character. And so in Batman exploring, what is this character? He gets shot and moves on. So probably not the best explanation of this book, but this book is certainly one that I've always loved. And if I find it cheap, I pick it up, but I haven't yet. I've always seen it for like $8 or $10, and I have it. I'm not looking to flip it, but I would have another copy if it was in better condition. So that's Batman Sword of Azrael #1. So next up, Cajun Comics 100 sub contest. Congratulations, man. So this contest has 2 things. Show 5 comics that hold a bit of nostalgia, and I could show my whole collection. Even the Azrael book is one that could fit this description. And then 1 non-comic. So I have something that I'll show. It's behind me, not in the frame, it has a comic book connotation. So 5 nostalgia comics. I'm going to start off with this guy. Amazing Spider-Man 101, Morbius, first appearance. I remember hearing about this, and this was always a hard one to find. The arms, crazy. He grew 6 arms in the issue before, and so he's fighting a living vampire in the daylight. I found this shortly after I moved to the city after graduating, and it has writing on it, right up here, and right here. So could kill the person who did that, but it's a really good copy, and I remember this being so untouchable back in the day when Midnight Suns was going on in the early 90s, mid-90s, and it was just a key Amazing Spider-Man issue. I never thought I would own anything below Spider-Man 300, and I don't even think I had that at the time as a kid. So getting some of these books, these key issues, was, they're grails for me, and they probably still are grails for a lot of people. So a bit of nostalgia just to have this, because I only could get my hand on the second print back in the day. This is a little bit of a random one, but X-Men 273. I received this second copy through that mega blind box haul that I acquired that was free. And this book, I just love it. I remember getting it as a trading card for the Jim Lee series, and looking at this and like, who says that Professor X is going to die? Is this a villain? And it turns out not to be a villain. It's Lila Cheney, the rock singer. But I think she's a rock singer. She's intergalactic of some sort. And this takes the X-Men to the Shi'ar and that whole Skrull saga that they did in up to 375. But it has killer Jim Lee art. The white cover in the background, although you don't see a lot of it, it just makes it pop. And this was a book that I also found hard to get as a kid, but it's the epitome of a lot of the late 80s, early 90s X-Men books that I fell in love with. And to this day, I love the X-Men. I love this run. I'm tempted to keep it, although I probably will sell it. and it's just got some of the killer costumes before they reinvented the X-Men, and just one of the kickoff to a key story that I grew up to love as a kid. So that was number 2. Number 3, Uncanny X-Men 281, the double cover. I first had it as the second print because the first print was untouchable for me on my $5 a week allowance. But this is back in the day when books were $1. And the thing that killed me is this was my first, one of my early, not my first, but one of my early X-Men books. And I get it. And at the end of it, they're saying that Jean Grey's dead. I mean, one of her many deaths. I didn't realize that was a trend. It wasn't until the next issue where they say that she's alive, and her mind is in Emma Frost, and that was an ongoing thing for a while. But I didn't know, and I didn't get issue 282 for a while because that was the first appearance of Bishop, I think, and I was left hanging. I had no idea. So I thought Jean Grey was dead for a long time, longer than the rest of the world because we had no internet then. So just another book. Portasio artwork is amazing, and just a fun one to have. Another fun one is New Mutants 100. This is, again, right around when I was collecting. I'm reading this after X-Force #1 and reading the back of this and I'm like, okay, there's some cool characters. I didn't know New Mutants before this team. And then only to find out in the back that the main baddie, Strife, has the same face as Cable. It's like, what the hell? What does this mean? I actually thought Cable was Strife. I don't know if that was abundantly clear in the books or not, but I thought they were the same character and he was playing both sides of the team. I was like, this makes no sense. I was intrigued and it kept me reading up until, Executioner Song when they explained it. So that was another bit of book that I just, every time I see it, I flash back to that. And then my last of my 5 nostalgia books is Silver Surfer #4. It does have writing on it for Charles Norris. If Charles Norris is out there watching, I'm going to come for you because this is ridiculous. Why would you write your name on a book? But apparently that was a thing to do. So Silver Surfer #4, an untouchable book. I somehow afforded it after college. They must have had a really good deal on it. It was before the movies and before things were skyrocketing. So I have the whole run, but this is a key book. On the Rainbow Bridge, Thor and Silver Surfer fighting it out. So in terms of a non comic book nostalgia, I'm going to stick within the comic book world and show a piece of artwork that I've acquired. I found it on eBay from a colorist named Janet Jackson. She worked with Valiant Comics back in the day, and I'm a big Valiant fan. And so I was able to buy this and 2 other pieces, but this one is framed and on the wall. Might be hard to see with the glare, but this is a splash page from Solar number. This is the inserts, and it's for the Solar Zero book that they did with Barry Windsor Smith. So I was a big fan of Solar, big fan of BWS's artwork. And it's Solar, it's Erica Pierce, who is a villain in the Unity storyline. And this is his artwork colored by Janet Jackson. The colors are beautiful. His artwork is beautiful. I love how the watercolors just blend off the page. And this is a piece that I was like, this needs to go on the wall. So it's on part of the gallery wall with some other things that are just special to me. So that's my little bit of nostalgia that's not necessarily a comic book, but still fits the bill. All right, and my last of this 5 contest haul video is Lone Wolf of Comic Book Hunts. Lone Wolf of Comic Book Hunts 400 sub contest. So he asked, which character deserves to have a movie? So obviously it's Lila Cheney, as I showed you before in X-Men. I'm just kidding. So 2 come to mind, and one is mostly because I wanted to see more of him, and that character is Silver Surfer. He was underutilized in the Fantastic Four 2 movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer, or whatever they called it. Galactus was not even seen, just a threat. But I would love to see a Silver Surfer movie that's more true to the character. It's more cosmic, and that could tie into Guardians of the Galaxy, Warlock coming into those movies, Thanos. All of that would be awesome, and I feel like it could be in like Phase 3 or 4, later down the road if Infinity War pans out well. So Silver Surfer would be great, and then Thanos or Thor could also be part of that. Even they could recreate this issue. I'm a big Silver Surfer fan. What can I say? So he's one that I think definitely. And with the Batman books, why not Azrael? Cool character, brings Gotham back into the fold. Mythology, he could be a standalone and not even tied to Batman if they wanted to do it. But the flaming daggers, I mean, hell, that's so freaking cool. Just a cool costume, cool mask. I think this would be a killer one, and maybe it's just me and my 90s nostalgia. But I love this. So I think he could be a cool character. I didn't read his full run series, the 1 through 100. I thought some of the covers were cool, but I don't know if they explored his mythology anymore there. So those are the ones I would say that could go in the movie, not Lila Cheney. So that's it. That was Billy Unboxes. That was Comichaulics. That was Gumba 213. That was Cajun Comics, and that was Lone Wolf of Comic Book Hunts. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to keep on making videos. So check out my contest, my 300 sub contest if you haven't. Make sure you enter by December 31st. I want to see how many we can actually get. So I have a few entries already. Great start. Let's see what else y'all have. So thanks everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. I chime in with the haven't you people ever heard of?